Okay, so I just landed in St. Augustine, Florida. I'm here at the Casa Monica for the Not Pro Florida event here, and it is our last one of the year. So we're going out big with the bang. Augustine's the Not Pro workshop, and I'm here with Kristi Drago-Price, founder of Editor's Edge, and we, is that right?
Yep, yeah, that's okay.
Kristi Drago-Price. and we've been having a conversation, and I feel like we might as well let everyone enjoy all the tips we've been talking about and things. So I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm so glad to finally sit down and chat with you.
I know, in person, face to face.
Not on social media.
Exactly. And it's kind of loud in the background because we have a lot of people moving around, so be kind of movers and shakers, but it's good. So enjoy. I am so excited to officially chat with you because I feel like we know each other from lots of different people and worlds where we've probably been in the same room at the same time for lots of events.
Oh, for sure.
And I think for me, like I said earlier, that being around other strong, powerful women who have chosen to say yes. Yeah. They take their ideas and they're like, okay, now what? And they're like, action. Yeah. And I think that I maybe take for granted sometimes that I have that kind of motivation and that follow through. Oh yeah. And I feel like sometimes the common question is well, what do I do first? So I want to talk about a little bit about that today. How did you I know even with ideas I have there, it's so big, and then those first steps are I can't do all of this at this initially. So how do I shape it over time?
So interesting, very interesting story that people may have heard me say before. But so I was the editor at Conde Nast BRIDES, the photo director for about 12 years, and have been in the wedding industry about 20 years, working at different publications, at the Knot, Western Weddings, all this kind of stuff. So I had decided to leave full time. I was over it, and it was the new year, and I was kind of freaking out on, more of instead of the goal setting, New Year's resolutions, it was more oh my God, I'm gonna go on welfare. How am I gonna make money for my family? The daycare is really expensive in New York. So I went to yoga to go chill out. Okay. And it's no joke, Editor's Edge came to me in an aha yoga moment.
Okay, I love that though.
Right? So random.
Because I feel like a lot of times people are always they're almost forcefully overthinking, or even they're I want my thing, I want my thing, I want my thing, instead of being present and conscious. And when I feel an idea like that comes to you, you're this connects everything in my world I've ever done to this moment of this is the next door that's opening,
Right. So there I am in Warrior 2, and I'm trying to think about what sets myself apart. And one of the things that I think I was taking for granted was that I do have a lot of editorial experience and publishing and with branding and media and everything like that. So it's really easy when you're in that position, especially I feel in New York, to just be doesn't everybody know that? No, really? Oh, that's surprising. The thing that I realized is, the wedding industry is a pretty specific place. Anybody that's in it, we're a weird clique or club, and people outside don't really get it either.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle choice.
It's a lifestyle choice.
Yeah, some people are weddings, and other people are weddings.
And what I love about it is I feel ultimately a strong brand reflects your business, reflects the personality of who you are and who the owners are and what the product is. And I feel I find if you go to just one designer, they tend to just lean towards their aesthetic a touch, and to find a team of people where most designers are not also writing website content and helping shape some of those things, or maybe they're not a photographer. And so I think what you provided at Editor's Edge, having a team of people that can really embrace that unique business.
One of the ways I do describe it is web designers, web builders, let's say, are building the closet, right? And they're building super cool California closet, elf shelves, all this kind of stuff. But at some point they're going to come to you and say, okay, where's your stuff? what's the picture you want on your homepage, how many galleries, what's your gallery's name, what's your about, like how do you want it structured, and that's where the downward spiral happens, because business owners are working in their business, or this is even worse, is that they're like, let me get back to you, and then it becomes an intern project, and I'm like, seriously, you're handing your brand off to your intern?
Which is not,
they're like, they're young, they're millennials, they get it. I'm like, well, they also never had like a real job
and they don't
before.
maybe truly know you.
Exactly.
Which is a big deal.
No, exactly. So that's super surprising to me. So I say like, okay, what are the clothes that you're putting into this closet? And the clothing also kind of represents your brand. So are you like super high-end designer Oscar de la Renta Versace kind of clothes, or are you like Levi's and
J. Crew
and like beat up t-shirts and that kind of, and that's okay, but it needs to be specific, and also you need like a closet diet. So I'd explain it as like, it's like, I'm a wedding planner, like what you do for your clients, like you're planning their wedding, overseeing it and creative directing, managing it. That's what I'm doing for your brand.
I have a couple other businesses, and I feel like I'm just thinking about when I started and when some of those ideas came. And so I feel like I can't really focus on like how it evolved to like a paying client. Like when I actually break that down, like I know for one of my companies, Garment Exchange, like an idea came to me and I was like, okay, like let's almost mentally like get through this a little bit, and so I just started typing, I started writing, I started thinking about like what could this look like, what would this look like, and then I started peeling back the layers until I was like, here's the foundation of what I think I can start from, which was, you know, circulating the concept, getting feedback, so forth. Did you ever have that process where you were like, okay, this is what it is, big picture, like how do I figure out what the first action is in a way that's like, this is a service that I can provide? Did that take 2 weeks, a month,
oh, that's
3 months, 6 months?
Because it was it was the side hustle for a while, so that took time, and so it did take a while for it to kind of be where it is now, and sort of like, think of it like a plant is like, you're just sort of watering the idea, and it's like, you know, like,
and pruning and
asking other people like, would you water my plant, like what do you think, and that kind of thing. So yes, there is that, like, is this a good idea, am I crazy, like would somebody pay for this, like that kind of thing. And also because there's so much self-doubt, you're like, is this really valuable, and that kind of thing. But
do you think it's good for people to do like a touch-up every like year, 3 years, 5 years? Like what is your perspective on like really scheduling time, being like, it's time to really reevaluate, you know?
But here's the thing that's interesting is with wedding world is that like every year you have a new batch of content. Now going through that just because you did it in the last year doesn't mean that it's always the best content. Something that you've done a few years back is still like, that was a killer wedding, that was the best project.
Keep circulating it.
It's so us, I'm going to keep it. That's fine. But or there's something new for a different maybe wedding. If there's something new that like, it's the same style of wedding. I'm going to use it like, it's a ballroom wedding, you know, modern ballroom wedding. So the old one is, it's a ballroom wedding, not so modern anymore. So I think what happens and why people like hide under the covers is that they think that it's either all or nothing, and that's where like the downward spiral again happens, where they're like, oh, it's so much time, this, that, and the other thing. So one of the tips that
I'll make that next year's project.
Exactly.
When it's actually maybe holding them back in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Like now.
Yeah, and so one of the ways I say is to think about it like exercise. So if you went into a personal trainer and like they'll say to you, first, you know, people will come in and they'll say, you know, I want Michelle Obama arms. And the first thing the trainer is going to say to you is, okay, sweetie, you need to get on the treadmill first before we can even, like, you need to drop the weight, right? So you need to think of your brand, like you need to drop what's holding you back, look at it, dissect it, and be like, this isn't working anymore, this isn't my client anymore, this is just like so 2003 or whatever, like, or even just knowing yourself, or if I do another like mason jar barn wedding, I'm going to shoot myself, then like take it off, because the work you put out there is what you're going to get.
That's what you're doing.
Right, exactly. So people see it, they automatically think, oh good, that's what I want.
Yeah.
So they're going to tell you, one, like to drop the weight. first. So first you're gonna look through it, and then you can get in, and then you're gonna start sculpting and toning, right? Like lose 10 pounds first, and 10 pounds of junky content, and then once you get that, then you can sort of start organizing and this and that. Again,
I love that analogy.
Yeah,
it's so true.
And then you take it step by step, right? Like you don't get Michelle Obama arms in like a week, by any means. You know,
it's much more digestible too. Thinking about hitting your brand as a whole, and really even just starting with like, okay, let's just cut the fat. Like let's just trim this back. And like I think they also, with working with you, will then find like who they are again a little bit, probably.
Yeah, that's what's really exciting.
And really being like, you know, cutting.
So I'm back from St. Augustine and I had the best time. I hope you loved her. She has such a great story. I loved her angle on exercising your business brand. I think it was epic with Michelle Obama arms. So I hope that you're enjoying the videos. Hopefully you'll subscribe or come back to the channel. Next week we have a husband and wife couple team, Lindsay and Cherish in Southern California, that are videographers who are dear friends, and we met up at Engage. So stay tuned.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring for you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy